The leaks just won't stop. Just when we thought we had the roadmap figured out with the M5 chips, a massive new report just dropped that changes everything for the Mac lineup. If you've been holding onto your wallet, waiting for Apple to finally ditch those aging LCD panels, I have huge news. We finally have confirmation that Apple has formally requested Samsung and LG to start production on high-end OLED panels for the Mac. And we aren't talking about off-the-shelf parts here. We are talking about a custom-tuned 24-inch OLED display with 600 nits of brightness. This confirms Apple's master plan to move the entire Mac lineup to OLED. But, and there is always a but with Apple, the timeline for this is, well, it's going to test your patience, so in this video, I'm going to break down exactly when your next Mac is launching, why the technology is causing such a delay, and why the Tandem OLED MacBook Pro might just destroy the Windows laptop market. Buckle up, let's dive into the leaks. First, let's talk about the 24-inch iMac. This is the computer that arguably needs a screen upgrade the most. The current panel is fine. It's cute. But compared to the screens on your iPhone or iPad Pro, it's dated. According to the leaks, Apple really wanted to use something called RGB OLED for the iMac. In plain English, this is the holy grail of screens where light and color are generated at a sub-pixel level. It looks incredible. The problem? Making that tech work on a 24-inch screen with 4.5K resolution and a 120Hz refresh rate is seemingly impossible right now. Because of these manufacturing headaches, Apple has to pivot to a slightly different OLED tech, likely quantum dot or a white light filter OLED. And because of that pivot, the production timeline has slipped. So, here is the bad news. The M5 iMac coming next year? It's just a chip upgrade. Same screen. If you want the OLED beauty, you are waiting until 2028.
Yeah, you heard me.
2028. That likely means the OLED iMac will skip the M5 and M6 entirely and launch with the M7 chip. So, if you need a desktop now, don't wait. You'll be a skeleton by the time this thing comes out. However, if you are a MacBook Pro user, your future is looking much brighter and much sooner. This is where Apple's master plan really kicks in. We are expecting a complete redesign of the 14-inch and 16-inch MacBook Pros in late 2026 or early 2027. We're talking a thinner chassis, finally ditching the notch for the dynamic island, and the introduction of the M6 Pro and M6 Max chips. But the killer feature here is Tandem OLED. If you saw the new iPad Pro, you know what this is. It's basically two OLED panels stacked on top of each other. Why do that? Because it doubles the brightness to a scorching 1,600 nits, and this is key. It solves the burn-in issue. OLEDs can degrade over time, right? But by using two layers, Apple can run the panels at lower power while getting more brightness. It's genius. It's efficient. And it's going to blow every other laptop screen out of the water. Well, almost every laptop. I have to warn you about the middle child. If you plan on buying the base model 14-inch MacBook Pro next year, don't expect the new design. The leaks suggest the base model M6 will keep the old design and the old mini LED screen. It won't get the OLED upgrade until 2027 with the M7. So, pro tip, if you want a cool new screen, you gotta pay for the Pro or Max chips. Classic Apple upsell. What about the MacBook Air? The best-selling laptop in the world? Recent leaks from Mark Gurman suggest Apple is preparing OLED for the Air. But again, we're looking at 2028. Now, keep in mind, the Air won't get that fancy tandem sandwich OLED I just talked about. It'll be a single-layer panel, maxing out at 600 nits. But honestly, for a MacBook Air, that is plenty. It's going to be incredibly thin, likely have the dynamic island, and offer perfect blacks for watching movies on planes. It's going to be a killer machine just 4 years from now. So, why does all this matter? Why is Apple pushing so hard for OLED across the board? It's about dominance. Right now, the PC market is struggling. Component costs are rising, RAM is getting expensive, and high-quality screens cost a fortune for Windows manufacturers. But Apple? Apple is the master of the supply chain. They lock in these massive long-term contracts for OLED panels, years in advance, which lets them keep their margins high while competitors are forced to raise prices. By the time 2027 and 2028 roll around, Apple will have the entire lineup on OLED. The M7 generation could be a golden era for the Mac, where the battery life, the screen quality, and the performance just make it really hard to recommend anything else. But that leaves us with a big question. Do you buy an M5 Mac next year, knowing it's the old tech, or do you hold out for the OLED revolution? Personally, I think the Tandem OLED MacBook Pro will be worth the wait. But let me know your roadmap in the comments below. Are you upgrading or holding? Thanks for watching. Hit that sub button so you don't miss the next leak, and I'll catch you in the next one.